Well, really disappointed about the announcement here today. It's feel bad for our kids. They've worked so hard to get this thing turned back around. Certainly feel as if we've met all the criteria. Quality wins. Didn't have any bad losses. There really isn't a legitimate blemish on our schedule, on our record at 8-3 and 6-2. You go back and I believe it was reported that 96 was the last time a team out of the CAA sat there at 8-3 and 6-2 and did not get in. It's just unbelievably ironic to me that pattern repeats itself here this year. Had a previous experience a few years back when I was sitting at 10-2 at Liberty University and did not get in because the CAA got 5 teams in. This year, for whatever reasons that are unfathomable to me, I cannot comprehend that a league that has these many teams ranked in the top 20 can't get another team represented in a 20-team tournament. I have not seen the field. The information was presented to me as I walked into the building here for the 1:30 ESPNU selection show. And again, I'm just disappointed and feel badly for our kids. They were heartbroken when I shared the news. It's like so many other things in sport, we tend to ride these emotional roller coasters. And yesterday, about this time yesterday, we were going out to earn a conference championship, and we did that successfully. An awful lot of joy and celebration and achievement, went with that moment. And that today we're met with the same levels of disappointment. At this time, I'll open it up to any questions here from the media.
Danny, is this a big surprise, or did you have some sense this was a possibility given the strength of schedule and things like it?
I thought that we'd be on that bubble, whether that is last 2 or 3 in or first 2 or 3 out. Now, again, I have not watched the selection show, so I don't know if that's actually going to be said there. But that was certainly my thought and understanding. The difficult thing in our league this year was there were so many different possibilities and scenarios as to how this shakeout would occur. And it got to the point it was just too complicated for me to figure out. So I made up my mind a long time ago. I'm just trying to get to 7 wins, and I was going to try to get to 8 wins. And we went on a pretty good run here at the end of the season and still found ourselves coming up a little bit short.
Coach, you mentioned last week after the Delaware game that you had that issue a few years ago when you went 10-2 with Liberty. After the game yesterday, was that something that you mentioned to your team that, we look strong, but there's a strong possibility that we may be on the outside looking in?
I don't think I offered that in any legitimate form. I felt pretty confident yesterday afternoon that we were going to find ourselves in the field. I knew going into the weekend that we were in a real solid 3rd position in our league. My understanding is that Villanova got the auto bid. Is that accurate? Correct. All right, so that shuffled things. It is what it is, but, it doesn't really make anybody any better than anybody else. It just it changed the way they went about making the decision. So I think at the end of the game yesterday, I was probably about as confident as I could have been that we were in a good spot to get in. And personally, I think probably the most ironic thing, for, the coach who's trying to prepare his team to play and win the game, which you knew was going to be a challenge anyway. I actually did have an understanding that if Towson beat New Hampshire, that would guarantee us a share of the conference championship. But it might hurt our chances of getting into the postseason. So it's a very difficult thing to process. I'm certainly proud to be co-champions in this league. I just would have liked to have thought that with that position, you would have had a little more strength here heading into the selection committee.
You said all year that people that don't follow the program day in and day out maybe wouldn't respect what you guys were doing based on last year. Do you think the selection committee, maybe, I don't know what goes into it, but they didn't see you play a whole lot of games and maybe they're not taking your resume at what it was?
Well, I think one of the things that happened for us is we were a program that had zero interest or respect heading into the season. You couldn't find us anywhere on anybody's poll. All right, so, and again, we didn't come out like gangbusters either. But, so we were always fighting that uphill battle. I mean, we all know if you start the season second in the country and you end up 8-3, you're still 14th in the country. If you start the season 50th and you end up 8-3, you're hoping to break the top 20. It's just a reality. And I think that happened to us this year. Our position heading into the season was weak, and there was not enough interest or attention paid to our football team. And I think it's a real disappointment that we just couldn't take it at face value and take these specific accomplishments into consideration as this decision was being made. I do know a couple leagues got 2 teams in that may have never gotten 2 teams in before. And again, what I don't understand is where's the argument that the CAA is down? I don't understand that if you're going to say there's 6 teams in the top 20. And I think that's a fact. I don't know if it's going to be a fact tomorrow when everything comes out, but I think there's 6 teams in the top 20. How can the league not be the strongest league? So I must need to get re-educated a little bit on how we are attaching value to the strength of these different conferences.
Coach, when you got the call, did they give you a specific reason as to why you were not in?
No, I did not get the call. Our athletic director, Jim Miller, got the call, and Jim approached me, he and David Walsh, when I walked in to the building here at probably about 1:20. There were no specifics, and, you know, there seldom are, at least at this stage. You know, what I've always kind of heard in the past, it's somewhere along the lines of not enough quality wins or a bad loss or your conference or your overall strength of schedule. So, again, that's why I'm kind of honing back in on our conference. Didn't have any bad losses. Had a lot of quality wins. All right, so to me, 8-3, 6-2, and being left out hasn't happened since '96. That's a hard thing to process. And I'm hopeful that I get some more insight from the conference office here sooner than later, just to help really understand what all went into the decision of taking some teams from what I would have to consider from lesser conferences, instead of going deeper into the CAA.
I know that it's all relatively fresh to you right now, but I mean, after the disappointment that they had last year from just having such a rough season and then to come out and put it all on the line, have you addressed or thought about what you're going to say to them later in the meeting to try to, you know, calm them down a little bit and get them motivated and have them realize that what they accomplished, despite missing it, is an amazing accomplishment?
Yeah, I don't know exactly what I'll have for the team today. I think that the most consistent thing with me is always trying to advance your program and maintain, sustain, and build momentum. You know, so I'll have to take this information and find a way to help them process it, help them understand it, help them deal with their disappointment, and then unite and move forward. You know, oddly enough, what I had ready to go today, I had schedule A, B, and C. A was we play Saturday. B was we have an open date and play next Saturday. C was we don't make it in. And all 3 of those schedules are uniquely different. So now I know what mode I'm in. I'm in C mode. So I'll go take a look at that itinerary a little bit closer, and it'll help me come up with hopefully the right words to offer to the team today at our 5:30 team meeting.
If I can follow up real quick, you said to help them understand it. How hard is it going to be to help them understand it when you yourself don't quite understand it together?
Well, it'd be difficult, but I do think, though, that what you have to be able to always offer is perspective. And that perspective isn't as shallow as why we didn't get into the playoffs. It's a lot broader than that. It's like, why do we have disappointments in life? Why do things happen to us that set us back? How do you respond when things happen to you that set you back? How do you respond when things happen to you that you don't really think are fair or right? Happens every day. Happens in every walk of life. So what you really want to be able to do as the coach is offer some of that perspective, though you might not be able to answer as to why our team was overlooked. So basically, at the end of the day, we had to go 9-2. Come on. CAA team having to go 9-2 to get in? Come on.
When your only losses were the 2 teams that are in.
2 teams that are in.
Anything else for Coach Rocco?
I know you like to turn everything into your optimist. I'm assuming you're going to really try to get this negative into a positive for the guys that will be coming back for next season, obviously. Right.
Well, you know what it really becomes then, in some ways, it becomes the first collectively negative experience that we've shared together. As we've gone through a full season together, for the first time. This is the first time that we are collectively having to deal with this element of adversity. We had injuries, we had other things occur during the course of the year. So again, my whole thing is and always will be our strength is in our unity. I am just committed to the reality that we have to remain united. Now we have a battle cry, if you will. We have a shared experience, that can continue to unite us and sharpen our focus and determination as we move forward. And ultimately, that's what I'm going to try to do. Now, whether I can get it done or not, I don't know. But ultimately, that's what I'm going to try to get done. And I probably won't get it done today. But in due time, hopefully we can grow from and move forward and then advance our program because of today's disappointing setback.